You've been, for the better part of today, in a meeting with the officials of the Electoral Commission. We are a television, we're a news organization. Just give us the news. What happened on Ginger Road tonight, this evening?
I also have to start with a disclaimer. The Electoral Commission is also a quasi-judicial body. Somebody on Twitter was saying, can you simplify that language, quasi-judicial? It simply means a body that can sit and carry out judicial functions even when it is not a court. The way you have paramedics who are not really doctors or even any other part of the medical profession, but they carry out functions.
They can do the job.
You also have paramilitary, and so on and so on. So quasi-judicial includes parliamentary committees when they carry out inquiries. As you notice, people take oath before them, give evidence. They can even order your arrest for contempt of a parliamentary committee. So since the Electoral Commission has not yet come up with a ruling, I really have to restrain myself not to prejudice.
It could be sub judice.
My case. I will say what I believe is necessary to be said, because I have already said enough anyway. From Tuesday, when I addressed the press conference together with my legal team, and then when I addressed the media in Gulu, I've said a lot. Suffice it to say that we were pleased when the Electoral Commission wrote a letter inviting us to go and meet them. It was quite a surprise because we thought they were stonewalling. I'd written to them asking for them to reinstate me on the register, as I believe that, and this is what I have been saying anyway, so it is not something new. I never wrote saying, I have discovered that I'm not on the register, please. I was saying, I'm petitioning against the deletion of my name. That's the letter I wrote to the Electoral Commission, because I know what the laws of Uganda say. I know what a register is, and I did not believe that the Commission was properly exercising its powers in purporting to retire a register. Patrick, not even the Pope can retire a register of baptized Catholics. There is no way he can say this register is now retired. We are now going to
start afresh.
I don't know, compiling it from I don't know which other source. So that is the centerpiece.
But let me ask. You know, and you have always said, Chairman Mao, that you are fighting a dictator. You are fighting a regime that does not want to go. And you have had issues with the Electoral Commission thinking that it is not fair, it shouldn't even be there. Why did you create a room, your health notwithstanding? Why did you create a room to find yourself in this situation, but you know what you're up against?
Many people have reduced this matter to a question of my career. I saw your opening statement. I want to assure you, Patrick, this really has nothing to do with my career. I'm not a careerist. Anybody who knows me know that God has given me enormous gifts, and I can excel in very many fields. I'm not.
But this is what we know you for, right from the university.
Well, the point is,
right from university,
you are talking as if I should have been a calculating man who wants to go to Parliament. I'm saying this about justice and compliance with the provisions of the Constitution. Forget about my fate. Today it is me, tomorrow it will be somebody else. And I think that's the issue we have to resolve. Nevertheless, let me put it on record that I was extremely vigilant. In May, despite actually being quite ill, I struggled and went to my polling station. There was no one there. I made a few calls, and some of the officials I know told me that, look, we don't get enough money, so we can't be at the polling station for the entire duration of the voter display. I didn't stop there. I contacted the headquarters of the Electoral Commission, and I was advised to come to Kampala because there are other ways of checking your name. Unfortunately, when I arrived, I was already really severely ill. In fact, the next day, I was admitted and taken to intensive care unit. Some people think, and I think that's what you are suggesting, that as a vigilant person who is fighting a dictatorship, I should have gone to the Electoral Commission instead of to hospital. Patrick,
because the principle of lashes requires that the rules of equity helps those who are vigilant, not the indolent. In fact, people think you are indolent as opposed to being vigilant. Never mind you are sick and everybody knew that. But there was a long time you could have used a certain window of opportunity.
You know, the game you are playing is the same game that other people have been playing. It is called blame the victim. And so Mao is not on the register because he is not convinced that he can be removed from the register just by some illegality. And why was he not vigilant? Doesn't he have political ambition? First of all, this is not the last election in Uganda. Secondly, I don't know whether our problems in Uganda will be resolved through this election. I highly doubt. The credibility of the ballot is being called into serious question. The integrity of the register has been put to jeopardy by some of the questions that we have raised. So it's really not about me. I want to insist that I was as vigilant as any reasonable man could be. But I detest those who play this game of blaming the victim. It is played all the time. You know, Patrick, when ladies fall victim to rapists, there are some cynical people, including judges, who say, how could you wear a miniskirt? I mean, how can you even talk like that? Somebody has committed a crime, and you are now turning the debate to my dress code. So I think that's wrong. When Joseph Kony was killing us in the north, some people would say, it is because you are not supporting the government, so therefore serves you right. I think it is okay, but the good thing is that these things go in circles and they catch up with everybody. That's why I'm calling upon everybody who believes in free and fair elections based on a credible register, which is verifiable, to stand up now. Because on election day, actually there's a young man who registered, put the proper polling station. He votes from Entebbe. So they now told him that his polling station is Bukoto Flats. And he said, what? How do I come to Bukoto Flats? So in that way, a lot of people are disenfranchised. We have had other very disturbing
So what you're
reports.
saying, this has revealed to you that there could be so many Mao in this register.
I'm receiving lots of SMS messages. Others are posting on my Facebook wall, and they're saying, you know, we are also victim of that. Today at the Electoral Commission, I found multitudes of candidates, all of them having one complaint or the other. But the point is, I am not personally agitated, because I think this is about justice. This is not about a parliamentary seat.
So some of your party members, in fact, were not happy with you for not taking the DP into the race as a presidential candidate. Ugandans had a lot of hope in you. I remember you appealing to the emotion and the voices of reason back in the day of UB40, if you remember, Ugandans below 40.
I'm still the patron of UB40.
Now I think it should be UB50 because...
No, I'm now not a member. I'm now a patron.
But you know the kind of hope you raise among Ugandans. And only just to go behind a man, you spent all of your time trying to criticize and paint as an enemy. In fact, at one point you described the NRM, if not these very words, but more or less like a devil. And there you are dining with them. I hope you have a long fork.
I see where you're going. We have tried to galvanize the energies of the opposition to create synergy. That is why we, after 2011 elections, we came together to form a unified shadow government in Parliament. Remember that some radical elements in the opposition had said even our MPs should not take their seats in Parliament. Mm-hmm. Some of us said, look, these are representatives of the people. They are not just representatives of the aggrieved political parties. Secondly, Parliament is a very important platform. And right now, we must play whatever card we have. You may have bad cards, but if you play well, you can beat a person who plays badly while holding good cards. And good enough, our argument won the day. So we formed a unified shadow government under the leadership of the FDC, and the FDC appointed leader of opposition. Through that, we were able to project greater power in Parliament in spite of our small numbers. Secondly, we launched what we call the Campaign for Free and Fair Elections. For a long time, I was the chair of the coordinating committee, actually co-chair. The other chair was Patricia Munabi Babiha. And together we steered this process. We held town hall meetings in all regions of Uganda. We held rallies, generally telling Ugandans that, look, the outcome of election is not the most important thing, but the process. Because if I lose in a clean process, I have
But you see, when you're holding rallies with the Munabi and group, you're actually telling Ugandans that look at them. The people who stole our elections included the man you're supporting now. I don't know how you ended swallowing your humble pie.
I'm going to get to that.
Yes.
I know you are trying to provoke me. Of course you won't succeed, because if you knew what I knew or what I know...
Now you're speaking like him.
No.
You're going to tell me what you will tell me.
If you knew what I know, you'd not be talking like you are talking. But...
You are really now...
I'm not so much bothered about how you judge me now. I'm more concerned about how you'll judge me 50 years from now. Because right now, the judgments are flawed. Anyhow, all these activities led us into joint actions, including campaigning for joint candidates in by-elections. The natural logic was then that we form an electoral coalition. So we came up with the idea of TDA. Now, TDA was open to political parties and pressure groups. One of the pressure groups was Gilbert Bukenya's Pressure for National Unity, PNU. The other pressure group started as NRM Pro-Change, as distinguished from NRM No Change. And they sat with our delegation. I was still in hospital at that time. They sat with our delegations from DP and other parties at Katomi. For a long time, they crafted a protocol. A protocol which is a document which should actually be admired, because it shows that we are thinking beyond ourselves as leaders. Now, where do you think I met the Right Honorable Mbabazi? I didn't meet him in a corridor. I didn't meet him in his house. I met him in TDA. If there was no TDA, I would have never met him. Secondly, as a member of the summit, I listened to him, and I also listened to the other candidates. And then I had to judge.
And you are the other candidate at one point.
I was the other candidate, and our goal was to have a joint presidential candidate. It was very important that we have a joint presidential candidate. Unfortunately, we were not able to achieve that, but I made wide consultations and made a choice. Now you are saying I'm in bed with a man who, in your view, is unworthy of my support.
Because of the words you said and how you kept on saying on different forums about the NRM regime. Mbabazi was
actually, he is not the only person I have attacked and ridiculed. There are many things I've said. Actually, all these presidential candidates, I've talked about them. I've commented on Kano Besige. Now, if tomorrow I support him, you'll call me on the spot and say, why did you say this? I think, as I always say ceaselessly, text without context is pretext. Look at the context in which I met the Right Honorable Mbabazi. Where was my criticism? Number one, I didn't like his enthusiastic support of some of the laws, like the Public Order Management Bill. I didn't like his enthusiastic support for the phone tapping bill. Now our phones are like public address systems. Actually, when I'm talking on phone, I know I'm addressing a rally of security operatives. 3, I thought his stewardship of the funds under the Peace, Recovery and Development Plan for Northern Uganda was wanting and left a loophole. Now, how did I reconcile that in my mind? Actually, that should be your question, because eventually you should reconcile that. And
you buried that one. You just.
I assume you are married. Now, tell me whether your wife is totally blameless. You know, there's nothing that you know about her which would really be an issue. Now, the truth of the matter is, you must put everything in context and assign the proper weight. Obviously, the things I've talked about have a certain weight, but the most important weight I had to assign to the Right Honorable Mbabazi was that he was an NRM insider with a reform agenda that the opposition could embrace. Secondly, that he was really a person with the latest information,
so
who was capable.
Hold on to your point, Chairman Mao. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, you actually want to reform the NRM, and the reformed NRM is better for you.
No, don't put words in my mouth.
Because this is what you just said.
Don't.
These are your
no,
words.
I said he has a reform agenda.
And that could be good if you supported him.
He's not the first one.
In fact, the reform agenda came up more than 15 years ago.
And you know who brought it.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to ask you, Chairman Mao. You ran for the presidency. You were not successful, and now you're going back to run for parliamentary seat. I don't know whether that is progressing or political retardation or even backsliding. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On The Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara, and my guest tonight is the President General of the Democratic Party, Chairman Mao. You know, we just ended on a note when you are talking about that you saw Japan as a man who could bring reform in the NRM.
An NRM insider with a reform agenda for Uganda.
And you thought, and that was a good thing, and that endeared you to him.
I think endearing is the wrong word. I mean,
semantics.
Our
alliance, to him.
Our alliance, where we support the Right Honorable Mbabazi, is not a social club. It is not like for friends. We are not like social friends, but there are certain things on which we agree. And when I stepped down from the TDA, I had to decide who, in my view, has the best chance of dismantling what we call Musevenism, namely the man, the machine, and the mindset. Amama has dismantled the mindset that the man is invincible, because for once, he is panicking. Secondly, Amama was part of the group that built the machine. He knows how to untie those nuts and bolts. 3, I think he knows Museveni better than most people in this country.
Even better than his personal doctor? I highly doubt.
You see,
I highly doubt that.
If I'm your lawyer, it is a lawyer-client relationship, but surely your close friends know you better than your lawyer, because they are the ones you talk about the most personal things. For me, I will simply say there's this case, you are cheated in a land transaction, how do we sort it out? So I don't want to...
Yeah, but in the bushes of Luero, they shared so much.
You see...
They shared so much.
The point is, I'm talking about someone who has, for the last over 40 years, been at the side of Yoweri Museveni. Of course, you are trying to compare him to another comrade who is challenging Museveni, but that's really not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to tell you the basis of my decision. I also think the Right Honorable Mbabazi was able to make a very solid presentation before the TDA. In politics, it is normal to go around smearing people. So you say, you are NRM and so on, return your card. Now, it is ironic because he's busy collecting NRM cards from supporters at rallies, but he says, you know, we cannot just abandon NRM to one man. We have all built it. We have a stake. It is a bit of a complex thing for most people to understand, but I understand it. So I want you to realize, and I want my viewers to appreciate the fact that I had to put everything on a weighing scale. I mean, the corruption allegations. I mean, all these people, the presidential candidates, probably I'm the only one who has never been accused of big corruption. I was chairman of Gulu. Did you ever hear that I had sold a grader or something like that? You didn't. Kano Besigye was virtually accused of every crime in the Penal Code. Professor Bukenya. Now, to be accused is not the same as to be guilty. In Uganda, it seems the moment you are accused, it is assumed that you are already guilty, which I think is erroneous. The Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi sued the Daily Mail in UK. They had the temerity to publish an article saying he had stolen money. He took them to court and he said, prove it. They failed to prove it. They paid him handsomely and he smiled all the way to the bank. That's why even those who attack him are careful, because they know should they say it directly, they are going to be in a lot. It takes time to build a reputation, and you cannot just allow, because you're a political candidate, somebody to come and make bogus accusations against you. So having weighed those corruption allegations, this Temangalo, now the man who was fighting him most was General Jim Muhwezi. Jim Muhwezi had sold his land for close to 30 million per acre. Amama Mbabazi and his partners sold their land to NSSF at 24 million per acre. Then they said he had inflated the price. Actually, I think, of course, I think the Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi is disliked by many people for whatever reason. And so because of that, he is prejudged in many instances. You really need to get close to him.
So you have hit it.
To understand
the man
him.
you're supporting is disliked by many people.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
he's seeking the presidency, and it takes people to vote you into the presidency.
Now, if you are disliked, you should be disliked for proper reasons. Now, if people just dislike you out of maybe personal issues, malice, I think that is a dislike a person should celebrate. The way, sometimes it is about envy also. Now, I know in politics, there are those who like to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, today I want you to distinguish between being nice and being good. There are those who are nice, but they are not good. There are those who are not necessarily nice, but they are good. Do your homework as you study human character. So, I am not going to simplify this debate and reduce it to a discussion of headlines about the candidates. All sorts of headlines spring at us every day. So I made my choice having weighed the benefits and the risks of supporting Amama Mbabazi. And I found that the balance was in favor of supporting him, because throwing my weight and the weight of the Democratic Party behind him would give the Ugandans to support a person who can give us this one last shot. Let me tell you, if we do not change Uganda in 2016, we are heading to Somalia situation. I will come and sit here, or you will interview me on phone, assuming I can no longer operate from Uganda. The truth is,
you know, sometimes
people are desperate for change, and they are not going to start splitting hairs. Even Yoweri Museveni, who many people adore, if you were to start, rummaging in his closet, you'll find very many things. But the truth is, you must weigh things. Of course, there are those who, when you weigh, you say, this one outright unacceptable. But I do believe that the Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi can deliver change. He's not just talking about it. There are those who have been accustomed to talking about change.
Many expected him that when he somehow disembarked from the NRM party, he should have walked out with the bigger names with higher recognition in the party, to stand behind him and say, these are the people I've come up with. But look, the people he's with.
Can't you feel the tremors?
Mayor Munyagwa.
Can't you feel the tremors he is causing inside NRM? To be honest, this is a very sophisticated matter. It is not as simplistic. This is not 2011. This is not... Actually, the Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi has put a card on the table that President Museveni cannot reply to. If it is a game of chess, he has made a move which Museveni is having problems responding to. And of course, unless you are really a supremo in chess...
You have really taken in so much, and you think this is it.
No, I have given a lot of thought to this. I think about things. Usually my judgment is right. Sometimes when I make judgment, there was a time I stood here, I sat here with you, and I said we should talk to Kony. You said, the man is a rapist, he's done this. I said we should talk to him. That's the only way to end the war. You lambasted me. We talked to him, and the gun is silent now in the north. So, as of now, I don't even have a vote anyway. So I cannot pledge even a vote to
Kony was not talked out of the war. Was not talked out of it.
No,
was fought out of
he
it.
was going to be a nuisance. If, you see, he would have probably not occupied State House or taken over government. But he was going to continue to be a nuisance. The peace talks gave an avenue for him to get out of Uganda. And that is what saved us. So, of course, the militarists will say, we hammered him until he had no choice. Well enough, I'm not going to debate that with you. But at the end of the day, the Juba peace process is what gave the people hope and made them to see that the government was caring Because you cannot have a government that says in 48 hours go to camps. We are going to bomb your villages. We are going to do this. It was terrifying and dividing the country. So, I am a person, first of all, I try to be very distant when I'm making political choices because I try to be objective. I'm not driven by emotions. And actually, the Right Honorable Mbabazi, even during the TDA process, I never had a one-to-one meeting with him. Unlike some other people who had dozens of meetings with him. I felt it was unnecessary. I wanted to judge him on the basis of
what he had presented.
What he had presented and what I know. And the bad things I knew, I put them on one side of the scale. The strengths and the potential and the benefits of supporting his candidature.
But you know very well, you're a politician, you know very well that to win an election, you also have to have foot soldiers, structures, you know, some kind of a system that goes up the village level. But now you're creating this feeling that, you know, people in their minds are really with the JPAM, and come February they're going to vote for him as if there's going to be an invisible hand or a voice that's going to speak to them to change sort of an epiphany that Amama is the man. This is just, you're thinking.
It's true that he does not head a political party, and that's why you form coalitions. You form coalitions so that you can borrow strength. It is like the fight against Al-Shabaab. If Burundi has no air force, then the Ugandan and Kenyan air force can be part of the AMISOM, and Burundian soldiers benefit from it. If Kenyans don't have long-range artillery, which Uganda has, or Sukhoi jets, Kenya benefits. That's the essence of a coalition. So, for instance, in the north, where people were most cynical, he benefits from our support. That is the purpose of an alliance. Places which were no-go areas for people like us in DP, Kanungu and those other places, now we have a platform. It is a benefit that you reap as a result of a coalition. You raise funds together, you share your networks and say, how much do we need to win? Who do you know? You know, in North America, in Europe, among the business community, I know so and so, I know so and so. You approach them together and you have a basket of funds.
So this basket of funds is for real, because men have talked about it.
We are raising it.
That Amama Mbabazi has a lot of money.
That is NRM propaganda, because they wanted people to go there with a mercenary mentality, which of course they have done. I think there they were successful. That's why every day people go there in droves, get Go Forward t-shirts. They look for the bullion van in vain. Then they purport to be crossing. But you have never even left the NRM, so how can you say that you are crossing back? I have not seen any bullion van. I have not seen any big money going in any individual pocket. What I know is that a presidential campaign is very costly. I ran for president, and ours was 4 solid months plus. It is a very expensive venture, especially if you want to be a serious candidate, unlike these ones who are basically having picnics in all around the country, tourism. The truth is, the Right Honorable Mbabazi has never claimed that he's having too much money. Because, for instance, if some of the billionaires in Kampala said they were contesting, you know, the likes of Ross Perot in America, Donald Trump, that kind of people, you'd say, yeah, money is in the lead. The Right Honorable Mbabazi, his candidature is led by his commitment to serve the country, his character, his experience in statecraft. There is no time for internship, Patrick. We cannot just elect someone who is going to start learning.
So he's ready on day one.
How to get on with the job.
You remind me of somebody who said was ready on day one, but she failed miserably.
Who is that?
Hillary.
Hillary who?
Hillary Clinton, running for the presidency, said, vote for me because I'm ready on day one for the job.
I don't know whether first ladies run the state. they may be there, but I think the comparison is inappropriate. The Right Honorable Mbabazi has been at the center of the public affairs of Uganda. And under our TDA arrangement, we need these 5 years. And he has pledged that he wants to give Ugandans a gift they have never seen before, namely change without bloodshed. Actually, it doesn't matter. Let me tell you, Patrick, Ugandans can even vote for a cow if only that cow can peacefully receive the instruments of power and by whatever means appoint a cabinet. And then for once Ugandans see a former president being saluted for the last time, the 3 stanzas played for him, and he's escorted to his village. And then he can storm town whenever he's upset with the state of affairs. The way Nyerere used to storm Dar es Salaam and address a former president can come here to Victoria Hall in Serena and say, I'm not happy about the state of corruption. Then he goes away because a former president has got a platform which does not depend on votes.
Hold on to your point, Chairman Mao. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'll be opening the lines so that you too can ask Chairman Mao any question you could be having or comment on his submission. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara, and my guest tonight is the President General of the Democratic Party, the Honorable Chairman Mao, the Oracle of Gulu. By the way, now that the Electoral Commission has stood in your way, and you wanted to represent Gulu Municipality, I don't know why, or this time around what you wanted to do for Gulu. What next?
First, I never applied to the party to be a candidate. Of all the things, I'd never considered a return to Parliament. Just like I never wanted to be LC5 chairman. You should know that people are accustomed to dancing on my political grave at every turn. But I always land on my feet like a cat. There are people who got concerned that if you are not running for president, we need you in Parliament. I resisted. I said no. Then when I went to preside over a Thanksgiving ceremony at Kaunda Ground, none other than the chairman of the district himself, who is
Ojara.
FDC,
Ojara.
Yes, plus several others, including the NRM woman leader, they stood up and said, for 10 years we have had an empty chair in Parliament. Please come back. Go and unite the Acholi parliamentary group. They are in disarray. They need leadership. I felt humbled, but I said, no, I'm not interested. And I made the decision that I would contest around the 20th of November. That's when I decided. Now, of course, you are saying, what you are saying is like, you picked up a spear saying you are going to hunt an elephant. Now you know you're settling for rabbits and squirrels and so on. I think that example is inappropriate, because in politics, you could say the best way to send an arrow flying is to pull it back. You notice that after I lost in the bid to become president of DP, I retreated to Gulu to become local government leader. The next time I came back, my profile had risen.
So this is still your eye on the presidency?
I don't know whether the parliamentary platform would give me a chance to contribute. I'm even concerned about the kind of people who would be with me in the parliament. I see the caliber of MPs.
But you just say you want to pull back, but yet this was not your idea. This is the idea of the people of Gulu. So what is this?
I did not.
You say this is not your strategy. This is not your idea. And now you're saying you want to pull back?
I'm simply being sincere when I say the best way to send an arrow flying is to pull back. Is my way now to give you a justification how I'm reconciling the idea in my mind. But the truth is, what I'm telling you is what happened.
Let me open the line so that Ugandans are watching us tonight. I'm sure they have their questions and their comments. So let me take the very first caller online. Hello.
Hello, thank you, Mr. Kamara.
What's your name, sir, and where are you calling from?
Lawrence is my name. I'm calling from Kireka.
Kireka, you're on air, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Now, my simple question are two to Mr. Mao.
Yes, Lawrence, go on.
Now, what I want to know is that what is he, as the chairman of Democratic Party, what is he talking about Lukwago? Lukwago is like, to DP is like Mbabazi to NRM. So what is he talking about Lukwago? Why don't he serve DPC as chairman of Democratic Party? Second, why don't he try also to help us about some other allegations that are mentioned about him? Is it true that his wife, he works in State House? Thank you.
Okay. Lawrence, thank you very much. Lawrence in Kireka. Let me take other callers online. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Abel from Kasese.
Abel Kasese, you're on air.
Okay, I wanted to appreciate what he said about his decision of choosing to support Mbabazi and him having an open mind with the candidates. That one I appreciate. But I want to know one thing from Mao. How did he? Why does he think that it's not an NIM game? Because it is too soon. To me, I think it is too soon to trust Mbabazi. Why does he not think that it's probably a game being played by NIM to beat the opposition?
And they could also be using him in that game. Thank you very much. Our caller from Kasese. Let me take another call online. Hello? 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 Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Simon. I'm calling from Tororo.
Simon in Tororo, you're on air, sir.
I appreciate Chairman Mao coming on TV. I'm a great fan. I want to ask him one thing. I want to actually request him one thing.
Yes?
Hello?
Yes?
Chairman Mao, if you can give me a compilation of all your tidbits, portable quotes, I would be very happy. And then now my question goes.
There are also unquotable ones.
Okay.
I want to ask Chairman Mao one thing. What is his point? What will be his point of separation from Mbabazi now that there was a point of union?
Could you repeat that, sir?
I want to ask Chairman Mao, what will be his point of separation from Mbabazi now that there was a union earlier? He has told us how a union was. What will be his point of separation?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll call her in Tororo. Let me take two more calls, and then Chairman Mao will respond. Hello?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll call her in Tororo.
Hello?
Hello?
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Olivier. I'm calling from Zana.
Olivier in Zana, you're on air.
Yes. I wanted to ask Mao, why did he?
Just continue talking without listening to yourself.
I wanted to ask Mao about his manifesto. Compared it with Mama Mbabazi's manifesto.
Okay, you have asked your question. Thank you very much. To compare the two. Unfortunately, you were listening to yourself, so we could not have a healthy conversation. Let me take one more caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Kamara.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Raj calling from Entebbe.
Entebbe, you're on air.
Yes. So I think Mr. Mao should admit that. Hello.
Don't listen to yourself. There's an echo. Just continue talking. You're on air.
Yes, Mr. Kamara. I think Mr. Mao should admit that had much expectations of Mr. Mbabazi to be the flag bearer of the next election. So I think now he played wrong his games, and for now things are turning back. Like, should admit that his game, the way he played, wasn't the right way. At least he would stand like Besigye did and continue his career. But for now things have already changed, and I don't think he can get back to his feet.
Thank you very much, our caller from Entebbe, and I suppose we can take a break from the calls now and then you respond, maybe beginning with that sting from Entebbe. Chairman Mao.
I think I should start from the beginning.
Okay.
I don't agree that the Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago is to DP what Mama Mbabazi is to NRM. The two are very different, and so I respectfully disagree. I actually have nothing to say about this question. We had a delegates conference of the Democratic Party. We have a leadership, and that leadership makes decisions, and it will continue to make decisions. The Democratic Party is not a is not a local party of some locality. It is a national party. People come from all over Uganda, and it has got a number of very intelligent people and capable leaders. And after me, whenever I retire, the younger generation are there. I think the next leadership of the Democratic Party may have to come from the generation born in the 80s and 90s. So the media hype about the turmoil in the DP is unfortunate. The direct question as to whether Mama Nico,
that's your wife?
Yes. Works in State House. That is a smear campaign which actually does not stick. You know, when the late Njuba was a high-ranking official in FDC, his wife was working in State House. People never made it an issue. So I actually, now mine, who even does not work in State House, they are busy promoting a fiction. Mama Nico does not even live in Uganda. I don't know whether there is another State House of Uganda outside Uganda. Secondly, the list of State House employees was published in the media to complete with their salaries. Did you see Mama Nico's name there? So I'm just asking people that please leave Mama Nico out of this. If you want to tackle Mao, tackle Mao. Because you upset me when you try to tackle somebody who is not even in the pitch playing any game. Maybe she resembles somebody who works in State House, I don't know. But somehow people are just obsessed that, you know, she works in State House, I don't know, she does this. I want to say, and I'll never get tired anyway of answering this question. I've learned to understand it.
You have even honed your skill of answering it.
So I'm sorry to disappoint you. She does not work in State House, and she has never worked there. She will probably only approach State House if her husband becomes president. Now the other question
is not when. Okay.
Why does Mao think? Why can't Mao see that this could be an NRM game being played to beat the opposition, and that it is too soon to trust Mama Mbabazi? We are dealing with human beings. This question was put to us in 2000 when Kano Besigye left the Museveni ranks and came. And our leaders told us to embrace him. I was one of those who really held out. I think I was the last to eventually endorse his candidature. All our top leaders talked to us, and as DP we really have our guardians who safeguard the interests of the party through us, the leaders. We were summoned to Mzee Byanyuma's home in Mbarara, and I said...
Those are like the Ayatollahs of DP.
Yes. And I said, no way. This is the man who used to disperse rallies of Michael Kagwa. This is the disciple of NRM ideology. He's only here to mess us up. Mzee Byanyuma looked us in the face and said, you young people, you have been in this battle on your own as the opposition. Now a new force has joined you. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? He said, Mao, answer me. Then I said, it is a good thing. He said, then what is the essence of your points you are making? So the same question should be asked. Japan, with whatever force he brings, perceived or real, is it a good thing or a bad thing if he is on our side? Jesus said, those who are not against us are for us. Because his disciples found some other people preaching and casting out devils, and they said, this is our exclusive business as the preachers of the gospel. Why are these other people preaching and casting out demons? You must go and tell them stop. So that scholar, he belongs to the category of people who would want to say, anybody who leaves the NRM and is talking like opposition, say, please shut up. You can't talk like us. This is not your business. It is exclusive. I think that is a very retrogressive point of view. It is not dynamic. It has no place in modern politics. And so I would like to advise on the question of being too soon to trust a Mbabazi. Why would you want to trust a person also too late when he's no longer useful? The other question was, of course, these quotable quotes. I think I may have to assign somebody to compile them, but I'm about to release some books. In fact, I'm going to take off time and do some serious writing. The other question was, what would be the breaking point between myself and Amama Mbabazi? First of all, our relationship is not based on a personal deal that I sat with him and he promised me this and I promised him this. No. Our relationship is based on a protocol. If he breaks the protocol, that is the breaking point. It is as simple as that. Just like in our relationship with God, sin is the breaking point. So if you don't sin, you are connected. You are plugged in. When you sin, you are unplugged. It is as simple as that. Lastly, second last. Comparing the manifesto. First of all, I don't have a personal manifesto. I've never had it. Even in 2011, it was a DP manifesto. And it was praised by very many people. It is still relevant. And I led the team that worked on the manifesto of our alliance of TDA, which includes Go Forward and the other political parties. And people don't understand the essence of an alliance. An alliance is like a temporary shelter, a tent. Patrick, the way you go to a traditional marriage ceremony or a wedding under a tent, it does not mean that you don't have a house made of concrete from where you came. You come to the tent for purpose of that function. After you have finished the function, you go back to your house of stone and concrete. DP is a house of stone. We are currently in this tent called TDA for purposes of defeating the incumbent regime with the support of Ugandans. But some Ugandans think that now we have sold DP, we have given up DP. That is very narrow-minded and simplistic. I have seen the Interreligious Council for Uganda. The other day I saw Archbishop Kizito Lwanga removing his shoes and entering a mosque. Now, with that kind of logic, you would say, has he now become a Muslim? The Interreligious Council of Uganda brings together all the religious leaders for purposes of promulgating the essence of the faith, namely rebuilding relationship with God, either through a mosque or a church or some grass structure or whatever. That is the essence. So I wish Ugandans could start appreciating what this is. Lastly, that I should admit that I played the wrong move. I should have stood as a presidential candidate. Why go into an alliance if you have already made up your mind that you must be a candidate? When we were making the decision in DP to go to the alliance, which, as you know, we rejected. So, in 2011, I was being lambasted for not being part of the alliance. Now I'm being lambasted for being part of the alliance. But I'm not in politics to please everybody. I know I cannot please everybody. It is an impossible dream. It would even be foolhardy for me to attempt to think I can please everybody. Did I make the wrong move? Let's wait and see. You are thinking that I've made the wrong move. I've already warned you that I know what I'm doing and I know my capacity. This election cycle will be determined by February. I don't know what is going to follow thereafter. But who says that this is the only tournament? It is like the World Cup. It comes every 4 years. It is not like if you blow up in this World Cup, then you are out of the World Cup forever.
Okay, so our time is almost out, Chairman Mao. You've answered most of the questions and with a lot of clarity. What's your exact role on the Mbabazi campaign team?
I was very happy to lead the manifesto drafting process, and our manifesto has been voted the best by those who have read it. I even saw a column the other day by an enlightened young man writing from Canada, Maurice Komakech, actually saying the sub-county model is better than any other proposal. You know, others are proposing 3 holes per home. Others are proposing 2 million grants to drinking clubs of people who drink marua, and so on. But the sub-county model is a model which garners the support of the local government and ensures equity.
Your concluding remark on the show tonight.
I would like, first of all, to assure Ugandans that politics should be a competition to serve, not a struggle for survival. Do not generate bad blood just because someone disagrees with you. I've learned to be tolerant because in my own family, I have my brothers who are deep yellow NRM. And during election, they're all over the place campaigning for their candidate. And I'm also everywhere campaigning for mine. But at the end of the day, we must come together. As Ugandans, we belong to many faiths. We belong to many ethnic groups. Can't we find some common denominator that can bring us together?
Which is Uganda?
It is the duty of leaders to elevate those values that bring people together so that the contest does not become a zero-sum game that for me to win, you must lose.
Thank you very much. Chairman Mao, you have heard him, the Oracle of Gulu, a man now, by the way, like you said, you're going to start writing, which is a good thing. That's a book I'm prepared to buy. A man with the gift of the gab.
The working title is Tomorrow Will Come.
Tomorrow Will Come. Thank you very much, Chairman Mao, and thank you for you at home, for all of you who have contributed to this discussion, for your questions and your comments. Good night, and God bless Uganda.